All right, everybody, we are live here at the Area 51 Alien Factory for our weekly podcast. It's the Alien Factory podcast. We got a cast of characters again tonight. I'm hearing myself double talk, so give me just a second here. I'm muting my computer. There we go. Now I'm not hearing myself double talk. We got a cast of characters here tonight, as we always do. I think this will be a great podcast. We had an awesome podcast last week, where we talked to Brandon Roberts. He's doing a lot of great work with. He's doing some setup work, and he's also working with a set of course of mod community doing a NASCAR mod. That was a great podcast last week. We got some great shorts and stuff from it. So I really appreciate him being on last week. This week. I tell you, hats off to Cody Terlinde. He's here with us. We had another guest lined up tonight, Richard Murtaugh Jr. He does some dirt racing in real life. He is also the former owner of Rocket Racing Setups. When I first started racing and I raced for him, and he was going to come on. He got sick last minute, and I was wanting to have Cody on anyway because of some stuff we're going to get into tonight. It's in the title of the video. Cody is the number one championship point leader right now in Be Open. So I wanted to get him on anyway. So he's a good sport. Contacted him last minute. And so he's coming on the podcast tonight. But I want to start off by telling you who all's here tonight with us. I'm going to start first going across the row at the top of my screen. Maybe you won't see it on your screen, but I see it on mine. And that is the Admiral. Tracy Rumschlag is here in the house tonight.
Drop your beer, grab your gear. The Admiral's here. How you doing, Mike?
Doing good, Trace. Always interesting to see what T-shirt you're wearing there each night. That's a Big Monsters Eating shirt staring right at us.
Yes, sir. Yep.
And
brand new today, just for the podcast.
It looks brand new, man. That thing looks like it's like crisp. It's like it's got starch in it or something.
Yeah. I'm getting it primed and ready to go for tomorrow at work.
All right. And then also from Area 51, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Robert Cook. What's happening, Robert?
Hey, I'm still alive. That's all I can say. Still getting up, still racing.
Yeah, still alive. On our birthdays in my family, we say, we made it one more trip around the sun. You made it through one more week of iRacing and you're still alive. That's
still alive. Still alive. It didn't race that much, but still alive.
All right. And Scooter's with us. Scotty Stevens, man. How you doing? Scotty? Maybe Scotty's not with us. Scotty's always got tech problems too. Brian, you're Brian Stewart. He's with us. He's again up past his bedtime. I tell you what, Brian Stewart has been up more late than I've ever known him. When me and him first started racing together, he was up at like 4 a.m. racing. He was done by noon and was in bed usually at night by like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Brian, what is going on, dude? You're on a regular basis. You're up past your bedtime anymore.
No, I've been taking a lot of naps.
I guess that helps. Hey, Robert knows all about that.
Then I can make it later in the night. So yeah.
He was burning the midnight oil last night with me. Super high intensity training.
That's right. Super high intensity training.
Here,
awesome.
I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Well, yeah, Scotty, we can hear you. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on? Mike, good to be here tonight. Nice to meet you, Cody, and nice to see the rest of you guys.
Yeah, we got
my mic was messed up. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right, man. We're just rolling through. And
I was talking, and you said, "Well, he must not be here," and I'm like, "What? Huh?" But I figured it out.
Yeah, we got our special guest tonight. And I was telling me and Cody were texting back and forth about him doing this tonight, and he says, "I don't have a webcam." I said, "That don't work." I said, "Just use your phone." So Cody is here vertically there on his phone tonight. Cody, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Yeah, so if I have any issues here, and you might have to repeat yourself because it's a little quiet, but we'll make the best out of it, and glad to be here.
Yeah, that's good, man. No, if you got some headphones or something for your phone, you can plug them in, it'd be fine. Or crank us up as loud as you can. Try to be as loud as we can.
Looks like he's in a dance hall or something with the little
Yeah, that's cool,
lights
man.
going on the back.
Yeah, I like the
Discotheque.
setup there. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, what in the world do you got going on that
Yeah,
setup
we need
there,
that in our
Cody?
studio. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
This is my garage converted into a man cave. My wife hates it, but it makes for a pretty sick iRacing setup. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, really. You got like blue lighting from on the ceiling. The whole place glows blue. That's
Are those
Jeez,
black
man.
lights or LED?
They got to
I'm
be
sorry, what was
LEDs.
Are those black lights or LED lights?
So they're LEDs. So basically what I did is I painted the entire garage pitch black. So without any lights, it is dark. And then we outlined the roof with some color changing LEDs, so it's controlled right from my phone. So if I'm out here working on stuff, I can turn them white and have some shop lights.
Sounds like my drug days.
That's awesome.
now, Cody. I don't want to step on what Tracy's about. Some of the stuff he's about to ask you, but I've got to ask you because of the room. Now, are you racing on monitors or VR or what?
So I just upgraded to triples. So I've been racing on 49-inch ultra wide. So we got G5s from Samsung, the 32 inches, and just switched over this week. So
Yeah, the reason I
completely
asked
new
is
setup.
yeah, the reason I asked is because you got it so dark, man. As I say, if you're on monitors with decent sized monitors, it probably feels like you're in VR with all the room being so dark around you and stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Was that room's a heck of a setup, man. That's pretty cool. And what kind of a racing seat you got there? I see that.
So I'm on a track racer, just the TR80. So it's their GT seat, I believe they call it.
Okay. Yeah, man, that's an awesome setup. I'm glad you got your camera working on your phone there. That's pretty cool. It's good to see. So I think we're going to move right into our first segment of the night. And we do this each and every week. We just want to get to know the person that's here with us and we're talking to, let the audience get to know him. And so I'm going to shoot everything over to Tracy. This is Tracy's specialty. He's going to really dig down deep, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe he'll throw you some softballs. I don't know. We're going to get to know you a little bit. So Trace, go ahead.
All right, Cody, this segment's called The Face That Runs the Place. All right. So what we're trying to do is we want to find out about you personally, where you started, how you got involved in sim racing, possibly what your first wheel and pedal was. Just tell us what do you want people to know about you without going into great lengths. Like I said, tonight's an audition. It's an interview, not an audition. So let's keep it at that. But I know your fan base is here. I can tell in the chat that that thing's pretty lit up tonight. So obviously there's some excited people want to hear your side of the story. So go ahead. It's all you, man. What do you got?
Whoa. Tracy, don't get his head pumped up that big. You're telling the man he's got this huge audience and everybody's getting his man. You're going to get his head so big. I'm never going to be able to get on the track with him again.
Yeah, so I do have to give a shout out to my Asphalt Outlaws gang. They always like to give me a hard time. I do race control over them, so they all pop over here, and so I appreciate them. But a little bit about me. I started racing when I was 5. So we started in dirt carts. Went every Friday night to our local track. Was the points champion there. Won like 17 races that season. Continued doing that all the way up till I want to say I was 16, 17 years old. And karting got too expensive. So it was easy or less expensive to go dirt track car racing. So we built a 4-cylinder Mustang. I did that for 2 seasons. And then I went off to college and did my thing, was a music major there. But as far as sim racing, I really don't have that much experience. So as a kid growing up, Windows 95, we had, what was it? NASCAR racing 1995 at that point.
Yeah. Was it from Papyrus?
Yeah, from Papyrus.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody seems to start there. So you like that, and that's where you got your start in sim racing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So did that for a little bit just to mess around, and then really didn't touch it again, another NASCAR game, until iRacing 2 years ago almost.
Okay. Now, what part of the country, you said you dirt race? What part, when you were kart racing, what part of the country are you from?
So I'm from South Carolina. So we mainly stayed North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia.
Okay. So what else do you do? Anything at all?
I'm a dad of 2 kids. So
Oh,
I've got my little 8-year-old Harper and my 4-year-old Brantley. So spend a lot of time with the wife and kids, and then all my other spare time outside of working is spending the racing rig.
Cody,
Okay.
I hear you. I know how you feel, man. I got an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old too, but I got one in the middle, so we got 3 running around our house. What part of South Carolina are you from? We're getting ready to head down to Myrtle Beach here in a few weeks for vacation. You live near the ocean or inland a bit?
So I'm actually just south of Charlotte, right across the border.
Okay.
That's a good area down there. You're in NASCAR country, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal. So, Mike tells me that you're a be open God and that you're very successful, and that's good to hear. My question to you is, what kind of wheel pedal do you use normally? I mean, you've only been on it for 2 years. What type of setup do you have?
Yeah, so I'm on a Fanatec setup right now. So I've got the Club Sport 2.5 base with the NASCAR wheel, and then just V3 pedals at the moment.
Just V3 pedals. Okay, that's cool. That's good. God, I don't know what else to ask you.
Well, I
so-
like how he says just V3 pedals. That's some nice pedals, man.
Yeah, that's some high end stuff.
Yeah,
dude.
that's some nice stuff.
Well, it doesn't help that I was looking at some sprints today, so maybe spending some more money here in the future.
So in iRacing, do you do any other sim racing at all other than iRacing?
No, that's literally the only sim on my computer.
Okay,
So-
so do you drive anything other in the sim other than your Be Open car, your Xfinity car?
Yeah, so I mainly focus on the 3 NASCARs. So the A, B, and C cars. We'll dabble in some road stuff every now and again, but that's my main focus.
No dirt.
Right now.
You don't do dirt at all?
So it's funny coming from a guy who grew up racing dirt. I don't touch dirt. I'm awful
Okay.
at it on racing.
Okay. Now what's this? I hear you're a Be Open road race specialist. Is that true?
Oh, I don't know about specialists.
I heard you're pretty gifted. Why don't you tell me your side of it?
So we're getting better. We'll say that. So I actually
Better.
picked up,
I heard you're at the top. How much better could you get?
at road racing.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No?
So
No?
we're getting better.
Well,
main
Mike
thing's
told
just
me you
keeping all 4
come in and
tires.
take all his wins. That's why I asked.
What was that?
I said, Mike tells me that you come in and take all his wins. You steal all his wins. You got a rivalry going with him?
I mean, I do that on ovals too, Mike.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. I was telling Tracy 2 things. I was telling him that I think the first time I met you on track was like Watkins Glen, and I was struggling. You were just tearing it up. You were like, you won the race. You won a couple of them, and you were like, hey, I'm just running my the Ryko set where it's my team, whatever. And I went and checked it out, and and honest to goodness, I give you feedback. I was like, it shaved a second and a half or 2 seconds off my lap time without changing anything else. I mean, I couldn't get as fast as you. And so, later on we chat and we're friendly in the races and stuff, kind of become friends in the races. And I thought you were good, really did road courses a lot. And you told me one day, you're like, nah, man, you're like, I never really did road course races. You're like, the guys have been teaching me how or whatever. And but you've gotten really good at them. So that's where that one came from. Then the rivalry, we'll get to in a minute. I don't know how much of a rivalry it really is, but
Right.
at least on my part,
All right,
I don't
Cody.
think you feel that threatened by me, but yeah, how did you get into the road course stuff? How's that going? And who's been helping you learn it? Cause dude, you've gotten good.
So we have a lot of great guys on our team. Brody Kostecki actually helps us out a lot over at Ryko. So it's nice to have a V8 supercar driver over with us. So just running laps with him has taught me a lot, especially over at Watkins Glen. But mainly it comes down to that throttle control portion. It's not just to the road course aspect of it. It's throughout the entire sim. So I think that's something I've really gotten a lot better with over the past 6 months. I think it shows a lot on the road course aspect of it.
Okay,
Sure.
yeah, because I know that's a big gripe about iRacers is as soon as we go to a road course, everybody skips it and goes right to the next oval race. So I'm a fan of it myself because it's a big discipline. I think it's more 80% driver and 20% setup. But I was just curious because I want to hear it from somebody else on what you thought it was. You know what I mean? So people out there listening that when it comes that week, because that's the number one thing I like to do with Mike, because I get to pull the reins back on him, right? He can't go 10/10 on me. I know better. So what were we at last, Mike? Was it Coda we were at?
Oh, I skipped Coda completely. I hated it.
Okay. But anyways, yeah. So when I'm making sets for him and stuff like that, but I have to emphasize with all the drivers that I work with and co-op with that, we need to kick it back some. So that's why I was curious, what you thought. Now, so you drive at 7/10, obviously at 10/10, you'd be flying off the corners, but obviously you had to tone it down a little bit. What could you offer people that want to know how to drive those?
Yeah. Pretend it's me, Cody, that sucks at a road course of NASCAR, and you're trying to give me help. Like, what would you tell me? Because I'm horrible at it in the NASCAR stuff.
Yeah, so the main thing is when I go into a road course race, and I did this at Coda the last time we were there, is just keeping all 4 tires on the pavement. If I can do that, I know other guys are going to have issues with that. I might not be the fastest guy. I know I'm not going to be the fastest guy there. But the main thing is keeping all 4 tires out of the grass, and really keeping the rear tires on it with that throttle control. And you usually 9 times out of 10 are going to have a really good finish there.
Okay, great. Well, that's perfectly good. Thanks for the help, man. I appreciate you offering that to the viewers for sure. So, Mike, that's pretty much it for me on this segment. I really didn't have too much for Cody, but
Well, yeah, I got a couple of things real quick. First of all, I love all you Ryko guys. I have one of you on the program. A bunch of you get in and troll each other. So Ken Byron's in there. We're talking you up, saying how good you are to oval, how you can race the NASCAR stuff on road real good. And Ken Byron's heckling you. He says, "Yeah, but he can't drive dirt." LOL.
He is 100% correct.
you guys like to heckle each other. So I will say this, here's the rivalry. I don't know if y'all are familiar with wrestling, especially the 90s, but there was this so-called feud between Bill Goldberg and Chris Jericho back in the late 90s, where Jericho thought he was in a feud with Goldberg, and Goldberg didn't even realize what was going on, just come out and squashed him. And like I feel like that's what it's like, me and Cody. Like, I love Darlington. It's one of my favorite tracks. Okay. Dover is too. Dover, Darlington. And when I used to race more, man, I would get like anywhere from 6 to 10 wins or more. Well, 10. 10's my record, but 6 to 10 wins a week on that. And a lot of times I get them because I race at night. I race 10 o'clock p.m. race, the midnight race. Sometimes a 2 a.m. race, depends if I'm how awake I am on the weekend or whatever. And a lot of times I get up in the morning for work and race 8 o'clock. That don't happen anymore. But and I'd race 10 a.m. sometimes, or noon at lunch, when I was working. Sometimes I grab one right when I got off work at 4. So it wasn't like I was winning the high SOF races at 8 p.m. at night, But they were decent. Well, anyway, a season or 2 ago, all of a sudden this dude named Cody Terlinde starts showing up in my midnight race and beat me, and I kept getting second places. And I was like, Cody, you're stealing all my wins. I was like, somebody wreck him. I was like, I'll give you 10 iRacing dollars if you wreck him. So yeah, Cody, what's the deal, man? Why are you coming in and stealing all my wins at Darlington?
Man, Darlington is my place. It's my favorite track on the entire
Mine
sim.
too.
But we've put in a lot of laps there. So I believe that time you actually put a bounty on me was my first trip to Darlington. So the week prior, I was just running laps. I probably had 1,500 laps of practice before we even went there. So it's nice to have the results to back it up. But that place has grown on me so much. I'm so excited for next week.
Yeah, and so I didn't really put a bid. I was just joking. I was like, I'll give a lap car $10, whatever. But let's talk about that just for a second. And I want to kind of go around the room, not just Cody, but so Darlington is like Darlington and Dover are my 2 favorite tracks in the whole NASCAR circuit, especially Darlington. I may even be better at Dover. I don't know. But Darlington, I just love that track. It's hard. Not everybody can drive it. Once you get in the rhythm and a groove, man, you're good to go, And so I love that track. I kind of want to see what everybody else thinks about, what everybody else kind of thinks about Darlington. You said it's your favorite track, Cody. But first of all, before we go to everybody else thinks about it, I guess I could answer this question, but I'm not going to because I'm not the guest. but somebody would ask one of us, somebody could ask one of us, Cody, why do you guys like Darlington so much? There's a lot of wrecks and it's a hard track, right? And they may ask us, why do you like it? And number 2, what could I do as a driver if I struggle there? What could I do to get better there? So those are the questions I usually get about Darlington. I'm not sure about you, but I'm going to ask them to you because others have asked them to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the main thing is not everyone is very fond of it, and it is a hard track to drive. So being able to accomplish the wins and the great runs that we've had there, obviously when you run there or well there, you're going to enjoy that place, right? So I'm always the kind of guy that if I can run the top and it's going to be competitive, I'm going to go straight to the top. I love running the top. So being up close to that wall, it is fun for me. So I really enjoy that aspect of it. But there's a lot of driving to it too, because if you overdrive entry, you're going to burn up the right front. If you overdrive exit, you're going to burn up the right rear. So you have to be very strategic the entire race. You can't just go full bore from the get go. So I like the strategy aspect of that too.
Yeah, I find that I'm on my throttle at 100%, very, very little at Darlington. I mean, obviously in the middle of the straights, but that's about it. I mean, just like probably from about a quarter into the straight to about a quarter of the way before the next corner is about the only times I'm into my throttle 100% at Darlington. So, I mean, probably same thing for you, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of throttle management there. So a lot of just keeping 30% in it to keep the car rotating and getting
Yep.
on it to rotate it a little bit more. So really just depends on the yaw and the pitch of the car that you want, and just maintaining that throughout the entire corner.
Yeah, so Tracy, we've been talking about something without throwing out the term. When he's talking about staying in the throttle like 30%, I'm talking 10, 15, 20, 30%. What do we call that, Trace? And kind of give everybody a little bit of a thought or an explanation for what we're talking about.
Well, we talked about secret high intensity training, and what we're trying to do is show drivers that there's more driving involved than setup. But in this particular case, we're talking about maintenance throttle.
Yep, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, maintenance throttle is what he's at, or what he's talking about. But that's anything less than 100% and more than zero. So, and that's what we're showing a lot of our drivers is you don't. And I like what you said there to Cody as well about burning up the right front as entry, overdriving the entry, and then burning up the right rear is overdriving the exit. So, and that's a good analogy. I really like that. And I'm probably going to use it, so I'll give you the credit now. but yeah, and that's where we get into the maintenance throttle. And a lot of times, I don't know how you learned on iRacing, but we go right to the fixed stuff, okay? And the reason we do that is that way somebody can't sit there and start tweaking on a setup while we're trying to train them for driving, right? So is that how you started with your driving, how to learn iRacing? Did you go into the fixed, or did somebody help you and accelerate your learning curve in open?
Yeah, so believe it or not, my brother is actually really good at iRacing, as long as he can keep his head on his shoulder. So he has a little bit more of a temper than I do. So he got me into it. We started running fixed races together. Really just kind of following him. Didn't really know what I was doing. I started on a G923. So didn't really have the control as what I've got now. And then finally graduated up to the open stuff. To kind of get the car to drive how I wanted it to, because as we know, that fixed setups, they either tend to be really tight or they just melt the right rear off of it. So I really enjoy the open stuff because you can set it up to how your driving style, so it fits you a little bit better. But yeah, definitely got started in that fixed aspect of it and did a lot of C trucks and didn't do really a lot of Xfinity of it, but a lot of trucks in that fixed.
Okay, great. Thank you, sir. Go ahead, Mike. That's all I got, bud.
Mike
you're
turned
muted.
Mike turned his stuff off.
Mr. Excitement's muted.
Mike, you muted.
All right, I'm not.
There you
muted now.
go. There you go.
I was just saying, yeah, I mean, we got what I thought and what Cody thought about Darlington. I said I was going to go around the whole team. Robert, I mean, what do you? I mean, is Darlington one of your favorites? Do you like it? Not like it? What do you? We've been practicing some so far. What have you been doing? What have you been struggling with? What's been successful for you as we've been turning laps at Darlington this weekend?
Well, I like Darlington. It's like it's a driver's track, and you can't full throttle it all around the corner. If you do that, you're going to be in the wall. And like you guys said, your throttle management. So I'm only like halfway around the corner, half throttle or less going around the corner. And if you stay off the wall, you got a good chance of finishing well. And then cautions, you're not going to have much cautions because most of the time the cautions are going to be, below the apron. And so, the yellow won't come out. So I'm expecting a lot of long green runs and very few cautions on Darlington.
Yeah, and Robert, that's the big difference between Dover and Darlington, right? Like I like both tracks, but at Darlington, they're polar opposites. not Darlington, I mean Dover. Dover has the concrete barriers on each side of the track all the way around. Every single wreck brings out a caution and it's right in the middle of the track. You just got to hope and pray that Moses is going to put his staff in the water and the Red Sea is going to part and there's going to be a hole for you to drive through at Dover. But you're right about Darlington. That's another reason why I love Darlington. You know, a lot of the wrecks they just clear out and wash out down to the bottom of the track, down against that inside wall, and you just keep on going racing. And you can have a long green flag run while guys are wrecking each other out of the race, and there's no caution. So yeah, I love that too. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it's not like Dover. Like Dover, you have to, after 20 laps, you were dodging bombs out there because of the lap cars and, you know, moving to change or whatever. And they were bad out there on Dover. But you're not going to you shouldn't have that problem with Darlington. If the guys are smart, the slow guys will move down below the apron and let you have it. They're not, shouldn't be in there blocking you or holding you up much. Some of them will, but
unless somebody lists for you though at Darlington, there's only one real place to pass, and that's in turn 3, right? Or on the back stretch, like getting a good run out of 2 and getting somebody, you know, getting up side by side or as close as you can.
Going into 3 is a good place to do it. And like you said, come on, if you got a good run coming off of 4, if they let you have that line, they'll move down for you and let you have the line coming off. Yeah.
So Scotty Stevens. You tell you what, you came off an amazing week out of Kentucky. You had a great set. You were running it great. You were beating everybody on the team pretty much, except maybe Scott Austin. He was doing real good there too. I don't know if you guys were having a race together or not, but both of you were doing good. You struggled a bit at Dover. I know you were frustrated some, getting wrecked out. Plus, I don't think you're quite as fast as you wanted to be. So Darlington's coming up, Scotty. How's that looking for you? And you have any thoughts on the subject of Darlington? You like it, not like it, you know, whatever's going on there for you.
Well, Darlington is kind of a love-hate track for me.
Okay.
I love the challenge of the track, and I've learned a lot more this week, and my driving ability has improved. But yeah, I like Darlington, and I think I'm going to be good there this week. In the practice earlier, I turned a 30.109. It wasn't nothing compared to David Robertson's 29.8s and 5 laps in the 29s. I can't do that yet, but it may be the difference in setups, and I'm sure my driving needs a lot more work. And Cody, I think he hit on something really good. Darlington requires practice. He said he puts in like 1,000 hours of practice before he ever gets out to race on the track. And that's what the newer iRacing guys need to know. That's stuff like that.
Well, I think it's more like 1,000 laps. I don't think there's 1,000 hours in a week. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, can you iRating guys? Can you tell your 1,500 rating guys that are blocking us back there and keeping me from going to the front? Can you tell them to get out of my way? Because I'm going to start turning cars. I finally turned a guy in my last race. He was just in my way. He wouldn't move, so I got under him.
It's something you're going to have to deal with.
Down and he ran off my fender. It's his fault. He drove his car off.
Somebody needs to mute his mic.
Yeah, well, that's something you're going to have to deal with. Scott, he had his lap cars are getting in your way and getting frustrated. That's something you're just going to have. They're not going to move.
No, they wasn't lap cars. They ain't lap cars.
Well, they're not going to move.
Hey, I hope Nim Cross doesn't watch.
Oh, they're going to start moving. They're going to start moving.
Scotty's going to lose.
Tired of being blocked.
Is filed against him this week if he watches this podcast. Oh my!
That's okay. That's legal, man. If you don't get out of your way and they're impeding your forward progress, you're allowed to. Right? Can I push somebody? Yes, I can push.
Sounds like someone just got done racing.
Oh my goodness, Scotty. Moving on from
it's all
Scotty.
in good fun, guys. It's all in good fun, but I don't like to be blocked. I hate that.
Well, it's not really blocking. If they're not a lap car, Scotty, if they're not a lap car and they're holding a position, you have to do your best to get a run on them, find their weakness, and then do it from there. They have all the right to hold that line.
But let me say something. One more thing real quick here, Robert. I understand they have the right to hold their position, but if I just caught them from 5 seconds back and they won't get out of my way, don't you think I'm faster I mean, that
Oh my
if somebody
word.
catches me from 5 seconds back, I let them go
There's
because
this
racing them is just a waste of my time and burn my stuff up.
there's a saying, it goes, catch me is one thing, pass me is another. Okay. So,
Hey,
that's
Yeah,
Sc-
I'm gonna
Sc-
start passing them. I'm gonna
hey,
push them right out of the corner.
listen, Scotty, you can speak for yourself, but the official position of Area 51 here is we're not going to be touching other cars and moving them out of the way unless you're in a race and it's a late night race and Cody's the one car and I'm the two car and he happens to be around you on the track and then Scotty, it's officially okay.
Well,
I've
wait a
always raced
might
Cody
win.
clean.
I don't know, Cody. What do you think about what Scotty just said? I don't know. Do you have issues like that?
So I mean, there's two different ways to look at it. Yes, they can hold their position. It's their right. But the way I kind of look at it is you catch more flies with sugar than you do vinegar, right? So as long as you're nice to them and say, hey, can I please have the bottom of this corner? 9 times out of 10, they're going to let you have it. Now, I'm usually that one guy that won't let you have it if there's any kind of like reasoning behind it. So, for example, Talladega, on this new setup, my car just shut off and it wouldn't start. I had to start back from the pits. And I raced the leaders hard. And it was because I was in that lucky dog position. So I get the racing the leaders hard. But usually 9 times out of 10, they'll let you go.
Yeah, sure. I found that at Darlington too. A lot of times at Darlington, since it's hard, there's not a lot of good places to pass there. That most of the guys that are lap cars that just like, hey man, can I get by? And you're like, yeah, sure, whatever. They don't care. The only one thing that irritates me on the subject is whenever like you're one of the leaders in the lead lap, top 5, whatever, and you got guys that are fighting for like 20th place and they're running side by side. It's just like guys, even if I wanted to pass you, I couldn't. You're like a moving roadblock, It's like, I mean, whatever. I'm not trying to knock any particular guy, but that's the one thing at some of these tracks that doesn't have a very big passing. Like it's some of the big cookie cutter 1.5 miles that they're doing that. You can just go 3 wide like real quick just for a second and shoot right past them, no big deal. But some of these tracks like Darlington, you get 2 guys running 2 wide and you're coming by, especially like if you're leading, like if Cody's leading a race, like he usually does beat me pretty bad, but let's say I'm only a second and a half behind him or something, and they do that to you, then that kind of screws you over because then I catch right up to you, and stuff. So that's the only thing that really gets frustrating for me. Brian Stewart, you are you are in the midst. I mean, you're like waist deep in high intensity training right now. You've done a lot of it at Dover. We started at Darlington. So tell everybody what you think. Cause I mean, you just got back into it. You were out for about 8 months or so. And you just got yourself some new equipment, just got back into iRacing. So you're wanting to shake the rust off, get caught back up, and you jumped in like all the way because you spent all that money on new equipment. You're like, I'm in it, man. I can't get enough of the track.
Right.
And so, like of racing. So kind of tell everybody from that perspective, like your iRatings, what, mid 2000s, and you're your goal is to get above 3,000 at least, and you're wanting to really get back into it. So you've started in high intensity training. Tell me what that's like and how much of a difference. You and I've talked a little bit about this, how much of a difference it is and what kind of a difference it is from where, like when I first started and me and you got together and we were like the original team, me and you.
Right.
and kind of how we used to try to help each other versus like what this super high intensity training program we have is like, and the benefits and the difference between the two. So go ahead and start with Darlington. What do you think there? And then talk about the high intensity training stuff.
Well, Darlington's going to be a work in progress for me, but I have some telemetry now, thanks to someone. So I
You're
can
welcome.
look at that. I can look at that now and see what I'm doing wrong. So I've always been one to skip Darlington. Even back in the days when we first started, I just had so much trouble there. It's a very tough track. So hopefully I can get in some.
Hey, Brian, I heard it's
practices.
too tough to tame.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
It is for me. Yeah. So I'm going to practice there and run a race or 2 this week and see how I do. Robert gave me some good advice to stay off the wall. So
Yeah,
it's better than staying in the garage.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So I'm going to stay off the wall. That'll be my goal. So yeah, as far as that, and from difference from me and you, when me and you first started, it was we find out a little bit how to tweak our setups, and we would try. And I think sometimes we made them a little better, probably really not. But we was running the VRS stuff, but you
Yeah, but I'm
turned me
talking
on.
about more like how like you were helping me more. You had a higher R rating than I
Right.
did.
Yeah,
And,
I
and it
did
was just
too.
general stuff like, hey, you lift a little earlier. Hey,
Right.
try coasting. This and that versus what we do now when we look at driving.
Now with the telemetry, it's just amazing. I can look at exactly what I'm doing wrong and correct that. Before it was just guesswork, I guess you could say. Knew to lift early, but now when you're looking at the telemetry, you might think you're lifting early, but you're really not. Not lifting as early as they should. So,
and the key is though, you have to have somebody's telemetry that's faster than
that's
you.
right.
In order to compare to, right?
Right. That's right. So definitely looking a lot at that, man. It's pretty cool.
So let me say this. So like, I remember back when me and you first started, even Scotty, and this is even before I met Tracy, like the main goal for us, like if, the idea of being on a team or being with a team, or I remember when I first went to Rocket Racing and then, we've had several iterations of this team. I mean, it's all been the same core group, but, several iterations. And I think I went to a truck team one time, Sim Chassis. That's how I met Anthony Price, who's on our Area 51 team now. And the whole thought that we always had is we can get on this team or we get with these guys that we can get that magic setup, and that's what's going to make us fast. And not that setups don't help. They do. I mean, there wouldn't be a setup shop business if setups didn't help, right, Cody?
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, they do. Well, nobody's going to say they don't help, right? I mean, you guys wouldn't be in business at Ryco if they didn't help. But what I've found is the best benefit of being on a team, Brian, is being with guys, finding guys that are better than you, that are on your team. And then even with some of us are the same. Like I could list a lot of guys on our team that have all been up in the mid 4,000s or higher I rating. Me, Bobby's up there hovering around 4. I think he's broke 4 at least once already. Scott Austin he's like 4,500 right now. And so even with us, like there's weeks, and Rick Disler. I mean, I can name a few. I know I'm missing some people, so I don't want to offend any on our teams I just missed. But even with us, so we're all pretty even. But there's some tracks that I'm faster at than Bobby and them. So it would be good for them to get my telemetry on those tracks. And there's some tracks that Bobby and those guys and Scott and Rick are faster than me at. In fact, Scott, when we were at Kentucky and you were beating my pants off, I said, first of all, like I wanted both. I was like, well, can I get your set to see what it looks like and see what is different than what I'm running? And then the next words out of my mouth was, but what I really need, Scotty, is can you run a few laps and get me your telemetry so I can take a look at it and compare it to mine? And I found out that I was way under driving at Kentucky, which if I do anything, a lot of guys tend to err on the over driving side, but I found that if I do anything wrong, I tend to err on the under driving side because I'm always trying to protect my tires for a long run. And so I think that's the main benefit, Brian, to being on a team is not necessarily setups. I mean, if we needed a setup, we could go buy one from Ryco or Pay to Win or EPI or I mean, you name the place, right? Like there's places popping up in and out every day. We could go get a setup from one of those guys and it's pretty competitive, right? So we can build our own and maybe build it the way we like it better. But point is that setup isn't the problem. I think the main benefit of being on a team is be able to help each other and get telemetry. Like I would love to get a hold of Cody's telemetry, his IBT file for Darlington to see what he's doing different than what I'm doing. Because I think that's the key, man. That's the key to being on a team.
If you don't have guys faster than you don't really have that telemetry to compare. So fortunately, I'm the worst on the team, so I have plenty of telemetry.
So you got everybody to get data.
I got everybody to get data from, and I try to take advice from everyone. Yeah,
I got you beat, Brian. I'm just a start and park car.
Well, that's all right.
I'm second in that group too there.
Well, Tracy, you were starting park car. You got that big new monitor you got. Now you're always on the track, man. I can't get you to go work on stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I heard Cody say he got rid of a 49. I just gained a 49 and it just opened up a whole new worm for me. So yeah, I love being out on the track now. I drive everything.
Awesome. Well, I like this conversation. Cody, let me ask you. I want to finish out this topic with you. So I want to ask you that. So you are on, the Ryko, driver esports team. I think they call it an esports team or just one of their drivers, team drivers, whatever. I mean, you're their top team driver and be open, I'm assuming. I mean, everything that me and Brian just talked about with him and helping him with the data and stuff, is that the same way you guys operate? I mean, do you find what we're saying to be true? That a good setup's amazing and awesome, but where it really comes down to is the driver input and getting that data and be able to compare your laps and your telemetry with guys on your team that's better and faster than you and trying to mimic what they do. What are your thoughts on that? And have you found that same thing to be true?
Yeah, 100%. I've been on a team prior to Ryko, and there wasn't, what word do I want to use? The culture.
Chemistry.
The culture wasn't what made the team better at my previous team. So coming to Ryko, that was something I was really impressed with is the culture there. So the results speak for the work that we put in. Obviously, setups are important. So we have to have the fastest as we can get. But when it comes down to it, every single guy on our team, I would put them up against anyone on the sim. And it starts from with our builders. So, I mean, our three main builders on the sim on our team were previous Coke drivers. So they've been around for a long time. They know what they're doing, and they'll call you out if they see you doing something wrong. So that's always really nice to have. And then even our team drivers, just getting in there and running laps with them. And not necessarily even the telemetry aspect of it. I rely on the telemetry as well, but we're going to drive the tracks different, and some things work for some people and other things don't. So for example, as Darlington, I drive it completely different than anyone else on the team, and it works for me. But yeah, when it comes down to that culture of having the expectations of we're going to help one another, we're going to be there, lift everyone up, and make everyone faster. That's the main thing that I love about Ryko, is how they're there and they're supportive of one another and how they'll make us better. To put it in perspective, when I moved over from the previous team, this was back in July of last year. I think I had just crossed over the 4,000 mark. So within a year of doing that, I've already been at 6,600 just from those, 7-8 months. So they've really elevated not only my just driving, but everyone else's on the team as well.
Yeah. Now, a little inside baseball with you guys. Now, from talking to Ken, he cracks me up sometimes. He's super serious a lot of times about stuff, and it just seems to me like he would keep everybody over there on a pretty strict schedule and regiment. Like getting on the track, showing your practice time and like that kind of stuff. Like Ken seems like the guy that would really keep everybody organized and really keep things structured and flowing.
Yeah, absolutely. And the main thing does here is that we want everyone to put in their time. So if we're all going to be running these setups and we are going to have input into it, we need to have the laps to back up our suggestions for that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I hear you. And I think that, so obviously, we're not a setup shop or anything like that. And we're not that structured here at Area 51. However, it's the same attitude though. Like this is the kind of the motto. It's my motto that I have that I've kind of shared with everybody. And this is kind of our team motto is we all, give what we can to help everyone. And then we take what we need. Right. And that's all we ask. You don't have to be on a super strict schedule, like nothing like that. Just come participate and give what you can, whether it's, you might know how to paint, like you might know Photoshop or GIMP or whatever, and you might be able to then give what you can. If you can't build sets, then you take the sets because somebody else can build, but you give, you paint cars for people, or you can give tech help when people can't figure stuff out on their computers, or you can build, or you're a great driver and just suck at building. You're an amazing driver and you can share your IBT files with everybody and coach them a little bit. Like that's just the attitude. And that's the culture that I've tried to create here on Area 51 team is give everything that you, any skill you have, you give everything you can give, whatever it is you can give to the team. Maybe it's, how to build websites. You want to build a team website for us, whatever. Point is that whatever you can contribute, you contribute. Whatever you need to take, you take. as, give a penny, take a penny jar at 7-Eleven, it's the same, but the whole point of it is that I just am a firm believer that, a rising tide lifts all ships, and I think that if we all have that attitude that we're all going to have fun and get better. And I think that's what you're describing is going at Ryko too. It's just, I think since you guys are a professional, as far as professionals, you get paid money for setups, that is probably a lot more structured. But I think that's the same attitude that all teams need to have in order to get better. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah, 100% fair.
Yeah.
Cody, do you have people like you want to be faster than them on a certain track or track? Well, he's faster than me. I'm going to have to beat him and be faster than him.
Yeah, who's your rival?
I have Scotty as a rival all the time.
Yeah. Obviously, you may be my rival, steal my wins at Darlington, but I can tell you right now, I'm not your rival. You always finish ahead of me. So tell everybody who's your rival? Who's your big rival you race against?
So I wouldn't call it a rivalry, but I was pretty salty that y'all had Tommy Gossett on before me.
Oh. Hey, well, Tommy contacted me and said, hey, I know Tommy, he streams a lot and stuff, and we're buddies too, me and him joking races like me and you do. And he just flat out, contacted me and said, hey man, would you be willing to have me on? I'm doing Road to Pro, and he told me he was like 26th or whatever. And I was like, actually, that sounds pretty interesting. People are doing Road to Pro right now. I was like, yeah, come talk about Road to Pro. So yeah, Tommy didn't call me and beg to come on or nothing, but he just hit me up and wanted to talk about Road to Pro. And I said, that sounds great. And so, yeah, we had him right on, but you were on my list anyway for what we're going to talk about after the next segment. So
to kind of piggyback off that, just to put it in perspective, I don't have any problems with Tommy. Great guy. It doesn't surprise me that he reached out to you because he is the master at reaching out to sponsorships and all kinds of stuff. But what really came down to is I remember my first trip to Pocono, and he was on his stream and he called me a weird last name. It was like Terlinde or something. And he was like, these Terlines are driving kind of crazy because it was me and my brother. And I'm like,
just took a drink of pop, man, about
this guy,
spit it out
and
on
he's
my
going to call me the
computer
wrong
screen.
name. So what it came down to is I passed him and came over the radio in game and was like, hey, it's Terlinde, by the way, and then drove away. So that's all that stems down to. That's all in good fun.
Hey, well, Tommy needs a rival, man. He's pretty fast too, and I can't keep up with him either. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing you're out there. So you guys can be rivals. Oh my goodness. I tell you what, that wraps up this segment. We got 2 more segments to go tonight. This one's going to be a little shorter. I want to go into what we call the weekly roundup, and you might have some feedback. Sometimes our guests don't have any feedback here because either they don't run Be Open or because, or they're just not, in Division 1 will Be Open, which is what we focus on. But let's go right into that. And as we wrap that segment, this next segment will lead into the last one because your name's at the top of the page on this segment we're getting ready to go into. Let me share my screen with everybody, and we'll pop into the weekly roundup here for the Xfinity Series Open in iRacing.
Yeah, we're going to get Junior in here one of these days.
Robert, you're still working on that, man.
I'm still working on him. I'm still working.
All right. I think I got my
well, Tommy said he had Natalie Decker, so we're kind of hoping for that too.
Yeah, he actually said he might be able to come through on that one. We'll see. All right. So
yeah, Tommy, if you're listening, let's go.
Yeah, Tommy, you don't be slacking on us now. All right, we have got the Be Open. Let me just get a good zoom in here for you guys. We got the Xfinity Open here up, and this is for Division 1, and we're going to look at championship points. We got overall, and we also have the for the weeks. We're going to, instead of overall, let's go into Dover and see what everybody's been doing at Dover this week. Who's hot and who's not at Dover. Let me switch here to Dover, and there it is, Dover. Go. All right. So this week, the top point getter in championship, Cody. What happened to you, man? You're not even on the top 25 this week, are you?
I'm not sure. We finished really well in that. SOF. We were top 5.
He only did 2 races.
Oh, I missed him. Okay, you're in 4th. I
fourth.
missed you. I didn't have you highlighted there. Okay, there you are. Okay. Well, for the top points getter this week was Jonathan Dalrymple, 269. So I'm assuming he didn't win the Monday night race because Kyle Myers won that, and we interviewed Kyle here after the Monday night win. So I guess Jonathan Dalrymple ran another race that had a higher strength of field than
No,
the
it
Monday
only
night
shows
8
one
p.m.
start. It only shows one start.
Right.
Yeah,
But
one start and that many points had to be a high strength of field win.
well, it had to be the highest one of the week. And
Yes,
so,
that's true.
so that means the highest strength of field of the week was not Monday night 8 p.m. this week. I mean, that's what it would have to mean.
Yeah, that's odd.
Right. That is odd. Because
Yeah, we broadcast it now on Monday nights.
yeah, we're doing the Monday night broadcasts. Yeah. And is this the right season? Yeah, 2022 season. Wait a minute.
Ain't we in season 2?
Looking at it,
Wait a
looking
minute.
at the results, that was the only race he ran was the SOF race on Monday.
Well, I thought
He-
Kyle
he-
Myers won that.
You must got the wrong one.
Kyle Myers did win that.
Well, hold on. Maybe I got the wrong season up here.
But Kyle was
No,
also
that's
in
the
his
short
alt, so I don't know
season.
if that makes a difference or not either.
Kyle, what?
Was on his alternate account.
Oh, yeah.
That could have been it.
I bet you anything. That's it. So, well, at least we figured that out. Let me go back to the 2020 season. I hate how iRacing's got B open and C open, how they get labeled the same thing twice. 2022 season one's labeled twice on there because we run the long season. So let's go back to Dover here. And so, yeah, Jonathan Dalrymple, he was the number one point getter, 269 championship points. Justin R. Smith had 258 championship points. Now, he did get that in the Monday night SOF. Brandon Schmidt was third place, 247. Cody, you're fourth at 236 this week. Johnny Baldridge rounds out our top 5 this week with 215 championship points. Tyler Groff, 197. I'm not sure if he got that in that Monday night SOF race or not, but he was in it. Scott Austin here from Area 51, 193 championship points. Scott's been on fire the last few weeks. Scott Austin has.
Where's
Anthony
Myers
said-
at?
I don't know. It was his alt account. That's just this is all around weird.
Oh.
He
Yeah, this-
would be under D2 Division 2.
Oh, that's right. Because it is his alt account. I see. That's why he's not showing up. That means he got more championship points than Jonathan Dow. Well, let's just do that. Let's just go all. And I bet that changes it. Yep, there he is. Kyle Ma. I'm just not used to his alt account. That was sneaky. Not on his part, just sneaky as far as like I wasn't thinking about his alt account. There he is. Okay, so that changes the standings a bit. You got Kyle Myers at 280. Jonathan Dalrymple then moves him down to second place, and he was a second place finisher in the Monday night SOF race. Justin R. Smith was third place finisher. Brandon Schmidt fourth. That moves you down to fifth, Cody. So you round out the top 5 at 236. We have Johnny Baldridge, 215 there in sixth. Tyler Goff, 197 in seventh. Scott Austin, 193 at eighth. Ninth place, Anthony Federico, 186. And Tommy Gossett sliding in 10th place in championship points. There you go, guys. That's your top 10 here for this week. And
We got Jonathan Cadell in 14th. That's Steel Horse Live on Twitch.
yes, it is.
So
Let's move in. The next part here in our weekly roundup we do every week is we're going to move this, Cody, and we're going to go from championship points and we're going to switch it to incident points.
ooh,
Yeah, we
cue
went
the
from
music.
we went from the good list to the bad list. Let's switch this over here to incident points and for all. Oh my god! All right. So as far as incident points go, the guy that I've never seen a number this high. This is just 1 week's worth. Like this is not. This is one.
That's the
week
guy this
in
morning.
Dover.
I
That's the guy
recognize
this
that
morning I was
name.
talking about, Robert.
I've been in a crash with him a few times, I think.
So
not my own.
John D. Thompson, 260 incident points. Dude, he has more incident points than I think the second or third place guy got in championship points this week.
Well, maybe he likes to go the other way around.
Yeah.
No,
No,
that was
granted,
the
he
guy I
ran
was in the
1,400
race.
laps this week too.
That was the guy I was in the race with this morning.
Yeah,
22
and John,
starts.
God bless you. You're probably a wonderful dude, man. We're not knocking you as a person.
Nah,
we're not
picking
even
on
really
you.
commenting on your racing. Just saying, dude. 260 incident points. You want to come on, talk about it, man? Well, I'd love to have you on. Hit
Yeah,
us up.
John, have your people get a hold of our people and we'll get your side of the story.
Yeah.
Well, I told Mike go to Division 1 and do the same thing, and Mikey's number 2.
Hey, Scotty, stop it. So
That's
it-
Robert.
That was
Robert, don't blame
That
Scotty.
wasn't
That's
me.
Robert.
or
But it's
Robert.
probably true. I've seen
yeah,
him
Oh,
Robert,
it is
come on.
true. I saw it.
Chart.
Look
Yeah,
it
we
up.
got to see, Mike. You got to be fair about it. We got to see.
We will here in just a second. And then we got so the second highest guy to him is Anthony Scott 4 with 171. And then the third place is down to 107. So yeah, I mean, it really drops off. I mean, this
But when you
John
think-
Thompson, he's ahead of everybody by a lot. So let's kind of look and do incidents per race.
Yeah, I
'Cause
think
maybe-
it's 12, right?
Maybe he's not the highest incidents per race. Let's check that out. 260 divided by 22. That's 11.8 incidents per race. So we'll round up. Let's say it's 12, where it's really close to 12. So 12
3, 4
incidents.
X's.
Yeah, it'd be 3-4 X's per race is what he's averaging this week. He has 22 starts. Whew. And then let's look at the next guy to him. He had 16 starts, 171 divided by 16. That's 10.6, about 10 and a half. We'll call it 11. Yeah, it's almost 11, 10.68. Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to touch 12 or 11.8.
There's a guy that's got 2 starts. That's got
107
44
divided-
incident points.
But what? No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're at
I think, wait a minute.
17.
Chad Hodges, 2 races.
Chad
44.
Hodges, 16. Yeah.
16. Okay. Oh my god. Well,
Oh, yeah.
hey John, I tell you what, I think I was premature there, man. You're off the hook this week. Hold on. I mean, you do have the most incident points, but we're looking for the most incidents per race as well. So yes, that's 21, 22, 20. How do you do that? 17's disqualified, isn't it?
No, that's just a black
No,
flag.
not at
Oh,
Dover.
and you
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
do
You
a
get to pile it on more.
yeah, you got to do a
At Dover,
drive.
they give you more incidents, like 24, I think.
So at 17, you do a drive-through penalty, and then you can get up to 20. You may know what it is, 25, 24.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
like that.
25 or 27. I think it depends on the track.
Yeah, I don't. But 17 is a drive-through penalty. Okay, so we got John, man, you got 260. You had the most incident points this week in raw numbers. And Chad Hodges, dude, you won the prize for the most incidents per race. You're setting at 22 incidents.
Now, Chad was probably an A499 when he started the week. That's probably what happened. So
Yeah, Chad may just got ran over. See, that's the thing. Chad may have just got ran over for 2 races by other people and just said, heck with this. There ain't no way. I'm done.
yeah, that 14th position, that 12th, 13th, and 14th looks kind of rough back there.
Yeah, really. All right. By popular demand, Cody, they're harassing me tonight. By popular demand, we'll go to Division 1 incident points. There we go. Oh,
Robert.
Yeah.
let's see. This is only Division 1 drivers. So as you can see, the incident points are a lot lower since we just narrowed it down to Division 1. And of
Mike, you
Division
in
1 drivers, let's see. Jacob Reeves, man, you have 72 incident points of Division 1 drivers, and
Divide it out, Mike, so that we only have the
I'm
average.
looking. So
He's being hesitant. You notice that, don't you?
72 divided by 13 is 5.538.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Not too bad. And then I had 9 starts with 26. 26 divided by 9. I mean, I had a lot of starts this week. Dude.
3 something?
You know, no, it's not even 3. It's 2 point something. Come on, Robert.
It's
Dude,
still it's still seconds in the points on
Yeah, but I had a lot of races. I ran 9 races.
I
only
bet
had
Robert's got more than that.
Yeah, I only had 2.888888. Like it's an irrational numbers. 2.8.
Let's see
repeated
Division
forever.
2.
So I had 2.88 per race. That's not bad. And
God, if we go to Division 2, I bet you beat me.
Let's see who had the most starts in Division 1. Oh, I had the 4th most starts in Division 1. That's why I was second in incident points. 2.88 incident points per race is not a lot. You had me feeling bad before the podcast. Robert's like, just so everybody knows, Robert was harassing me before the podcast. He goes, "Hey, Mikey, hey, when you do the wall of shame tonight, hey, Mikey, when you look at incident points, I already looked you up.
You're second. You're
number
second on the board. You're
Yeah,
second
you're
on the
number
board.
2 in Division 1. You're number 2 in Division 1. But he failed to look at the fact that it was only 2.88 per race.
Mike, you'll just have to go back after Robert after Darlington this week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was just harassing me all night about it. Say, I'm going to bring that up in the podcast.
Okay, go ahead. Go to Division 2 and see what
All
happens.
right, I'll look at Division 2.
I think Scotty got me beat. I think.
Jason Lanny.
Let's look at championship points first in Division 2. And forget Kyle Myers. He's actually a Division 1 driver. But let's see how you guys are doing. Let's see if anybody on the team here. I know there's several people on the team in Division 2.
I'm in 12th.
Yeah, Robert, you're in 12th in Division 2 this week. And is Scotty on the board here? There's our buddy Michael Thorpe Jr. He's down there in 23rd this week in Division 2.
No, I only had 2 good races out of 5, I think. And the other 4.
Because people wouldn't move out of your way, right? Because
exactly, and people wouldn't keep crashing.
Well, there's David Robertson's alt account. He's in 3rd on his alt account, but again, he's a Division 1 driver. I don't like a lot of that stuff where I don't necessarily hate alt accounts to begin with, but like, you know, like you got these guys that are Division 1 drivers down here messing with the point system in Division 2, which isn't really fair to the guys in Division 2. But anyway, we did pretty good. Robert, that's pretty good on championship points. All right, here we go. Let's switch over what everybody wants to talk about. That's incident points. So Jason Laney has the most raw points, but he had 16 starts. I mean, that's next to nothing. 44 divided by 16. We can't rag on Jason. That's like 2.75. That's about the same as mine. He just had a ton of starts. Division 2 is pretty clean too, guys.
Yeah, see, Scotty got me beat for incidents. You see,
Scotty does. Yeah. All right, Scotty, let's look at yours.
That's got to be 6 point something, right?
Yeah,
Hey,
Scotty, I got some bad news for you.
I got wrecked a lot at Dover.
Of everybody at the top, you have the least amount of starts for having that many incidents. So let's look here.
Thanks.
Well, I had 5 starts too, Scotty. I had 5 starts too, Scotty.
I think Scotty's going to be the winner for Division 2 here.
I got crashed a lot.
Divided by 5. Yes, Scotty, man, you're at 6.8 incidents per race at Dover. Of the top 5, you had the least amount of starts. So I don't think there's anybody that's gonna be more incidents per race than you this week. I think. Yeah.
No, probably not.
No. I take that back. Jason M. Stewart, he raced 2 races and got 26. So he's 13 per race. But again, his side of the story is probably he got in those races and got destroyed by other people and decided that's it. I'm giving it up.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
He probably
raced 5 races. Yeah,
Cody, do you preach patience on your league, on your team? Patience.
Usually when you're out front, you'll have to be too patient.
Yeah, how you like that answer,
like
there,
that.
Robert?
Good answer. Good answer. Yeah.
How you like that answer?
Lonely at the front.
I feel so small right now.
It's lonely at the top, ain't it, Cody?
Hey, you will notice that I did lead a few laps at Dover.
Well, that just makes all those incident points all go away.
You know,
makes them all better.
Right.
No, listen, guys, we like to have fun. We're not running anybody down. We like to have a good time and have fun with it, you know. Like everybody, everybody always gets mad on the track and complains and yells at people. They touch their car or whatever. But, really, you got to go back and look at stuff. And we just like to look at it and have fun with each other. Because like we've pointed out here, a lot of times just for raw incident numbers, because the amount of races we run, a lot of guys on our teams, a lot of guys on our team shows up on the list for raw incident points. But, that's good and fun. I want to talk about something here. Let's just go ahead and transfer into the last segment of the podcast tonight. And Cody, I want to focus on you here in this last segment, and I'm going to switch back to Division 1. And we're going to go to the whole season and take a look at that just for a second. So the reason I had you on tonight is because I like you, Cody, and racing with you, and it's always fun. and you're always a good sport, and we tease each other on the track and everything. And so I've been wanting to have you on for a while, and this is a good opportunity. And really though, the cool thing about you, and I always, every time we bring somebody on each week, it's usually because there's something cool that they're doing, either in iRacing or something else that's cool, and special and different, or maybe somebody runs a setup shop and people like to get to know that person better. And that's why we had Ken on. That's why we had Mike Woulette on from Major's Garage. And it's always something interesting and cool. And so really the cool thing that you got going on that you're doing, that I want to focus on, I want to show this screen, and then we'll get, when you talk and stuff, we'll get, I want everybody to see your face and stuff again. But this is the overall for all weeks so far. We are, how many weeks in we are to the Be Open this year? We are on week 11 this week. So we are 11 weeks into a 39-week season. So we're almost a third of the way there, pretty close to a third of the way through the season. Here in about 3-4 weeks, we'll be a third of the way in. And as we approach the third of the season mark, man, Cody, you've been on top of Be Open, Division 1 pretty much the whole season straight from the beginning. You're in first, Brandon Schmidt second, Mike Bruno third, Tyler Justice fourth, and Johnny Baldridge is fifth. That's our top 5. You've been up there the whole time. And I want you to talk about that, because last year, I don't know where exactly you were last year. Last year, I raced for points, and I really made an effort to race for points last year. And for me, it was a big accomplishment. I finished the year whenever all the calculations were done, the two or three or however many drop weeks there were calculated. I ended up finishing 10th place last year in Division 1 for points, and I was intentional about it. I raced for points last year. At least halfway through the season, when I saw I was doing good, I really started racing for points. And I'm going to go ahead and move back to the camera here, so we can finish out the podcast on the cameras. But I intentionally raced for points once I saw I was doing well and I had a chance to finish well. And so there's certain things people need to know when they're racing for points. But this year I'm not. I'm not running the Monday night SOFs this year. Me and Robert and Scotty are doing the live broadcast, and we really enjoy doing that. And I'm just doing other things. But you are racing for points. And so let's talk about that. Let's finish out the broadcast on this subject matter. Talk about racing for points. I want to talk about you specifically. You're number 1, dude. That's an accomplishment right now. And so, what does it feel like to look at this leaderboard and see your name as number 1 in Division 1, which means Division 1 is the top guys in all of whatever series it is. This is Be Open or Xfinity Open that we're talking about. And to be Division 1, when the season starts and you enter your first race, you have to have at least a 3,500 I rating just to get into Division 1. So this is the best of the best in iRacing. And so when you look at the best of the best, you look and see your name. Really, anybody on the top 25 is the best of the best of the best. But you're looking at this page and your name's number 1, man. What does that feel like this year?
It's honestly pretty unbelievable, to tell you the truth there. Last year, I didn't pay any attention to points. I went racing for wins. And one thing I've really learned about it is you do have to be intentional about running for points. And you had to be strategic about it. And I think it was you, Mike, that asked, why don't you run the SOF races on Mondays? And I didn't have an answer. So that's something that I've really kind of focused on. We did miss the first couple SOF races, so it's kind of hurting us there in a couple weeks in points. But very happy where we're at right now. And I think a lot of it goes to wanting exposure for all the hard work that goes into these setups. Brandon Hawk works his tail off every single week. So to be able to show him, hey, look, the hard work that you're putting in is paying off. You're the number 1 setup guy right now. It's pretty incredible. So, and yeah, I'd always like to have more wins. Finally got my first SOF win at Richmond, of all places. I'm not a big fan of Richmond, but it really just comes down to the intention of it and really paying attention to it. Brandon's putting up a heck of a fight. He had me at the end of the day week, so I had to run one more race and get more points than him to get back on top. So it's going to be a battle. 6 drop weeks, trying to keep that calculated in the back of your mind. So my motto is every week, once at the end of the week, I post the points and say, we're just going to top 5 them today. So if you can remain top 5, you're going to put up good points. And that's all you can do is try your best and work hard at it and go for it.
Absolutely. So I want you to explain. I mean, I could explain it, but I'm not the guest. So let's have you explain. Me and you've both alluded to it. You have to be intentional. Well, what in the world does being intentional mean when it comes to running for points? And then you said, so we both said the whole being intentional. And then you mentioned that last year you ran for wins and this year you're running for points, and people are probably scratching their head like, Mike, what in the world are you talking about? Running for wins, running for points? Isn't it all the same thing? And so please tell people, how do you have to be intentional? What are the calculations when you're thinking about how many races you run, and what's the difference between running for wins and running for points?
Yeah. So when it comes down to being intentional, we can kind of go back to what we were talking about, those midnight races we were doing in B.O. Bennett, Darlington.
Yeah, that's
right?
not good. That's not good for racing for points, right?
Right. So it really comes down to, you want to have good competition to get those good points, because the way that iRacing formulates the point system is the best out of the first 4 is going to be your top points for that week. So if you're running 4 1,500 SOF races, you're not going to get max points as someone who's running prime time races, the Monday night races, and finishing well in those races. So that's where it comes down to being intentional. Also in racing for wins, we always race for wins. So we don't show up to finish second, right? So I don't want that taken the wrong way, but it's really putting yourself in positions to actually have those good finishes. So one thing I've grown with personally is, if I was struggling in a race, I was going to put myself in a bad position to try to get a better finish, right? Which ended up with multiple wrecks, not getting any points. So I'll use Dover as an example. We didn't have the best car. We struggled, started deep in the field. I killed the tires trying to be aggressive. We went from, I think it was 12th to 3rd in the first 20 laps. And then we just killed the right front. So we fell back to 16th. And just having that never give up mentality, we're able to catch a couple cautions and end up finish 5th in the SOF race. So really just being smart with the moves that you're making, not over aggressive, racing to the end, not racing to the next lap is a big thing, and keeping a good head on your shoulders, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. And you had taught, so I want to dig into more specifics in 2 things, because whenever we say racing for wins, I'm simply talking about getting the sheer number of wins, because I've been like that before. And I get like that in certain weeks. Like if there's a track I love that I'm fast at, and that's why I was getting so irritated. I was like, man, Cody's back on the track, is because traditionally I've been really good at Darlington, and then you get a lot of people not participating because they don't want to hurt their safety rating or whatever. So, I mean, there's a lot of single split races, and they don't even split at Darlington unless it's like prime time of the night. And so when I would race for wins, I mean, literally, I wanted to get the most wins that week. I wanted to do the same thing we just did, but instead of sorting for championship points, I sorted for wins, and my name was the top. And if you go back last season, before you started coming in and racing those midnight races with me, I did. You know,
well, you raced with the Geritol bunch in the morning.
Yeah, I'd race the morning races too. and I would, and I wasn't necessarily cherry picking strength of fields. I was just racing all the time. And that's just the ones I were winning. And so what I'm saying is if you sorted by wins, there were times I was getting 6, 8, 10 wins in 1 week at Darlington or Dover. I think I did 10 wins at Bristol 1 week too. The first or second time we were there. And so when I say racing for wins, I mean the most number. And I think you've done that before in the past too. Explain to people how racing for wins, like is in getting the most number of wins, how directly that can hurt your championship points. Why will racing for the most number of wins hurt your total championship points for that week?
Yeah, and we can kind of correlate this over to the road to pro side of it as well, right? So the higher strength of field is going to pay more points. So if we're just racing every single B open, there's bound to be one that's going to not be a strong field. So to put that in perspective, if you win first or top split road to pro, you're going to get more points than 25th split road to pro, just because the strength of the field is going to be higher. So with doing all those races, and like I said, the way that iRacing has the points system formulated, those first 4 races are important. And if you don't get a great finish in those first 4 races and have to go more than 4, they start averaging your finishes together. So when you do that and get those 10 wins, yeah, it's great for the win portion of it, but you've got to make sure that we're taking care of the points aspect of it when you are doing this points racing as well.
Yeah, and so I want to get into a little bit of the detail, and I just know what they are. And I thought it was 4 races at first, and then I heard it was 3. It's one of the two. It's either 3 or 4. But basically, what iRacing does, and this is so everybody knows exactly. So if you're wanting to run for points, you can run a lot of races if you want, but you may have to be a little picky or choosy and say, oh, that one's a little too low of a strength of field. I might want to skip that one. Because I'm not trying to tell you that you can only run 1 or 2 or 3 races a week if you want to run points. I finished last year in the top 10 and I ran a bunch of races, right? And it was some weeks at my favorite tracks. I just said, I don't care. I want to run them all. But if so, what you got to do is if you're running for points, here's how they calculate it. It's either 3 or 4. I'm not sure which. Cody says 4. I thought it was 3. I used to think it was 4, whatever. It's either 3. So what they do is I always go with 3 now to err on the side of caution. So I wouldn't want to get that 4th one and mess me up if I was running for points. But what they do is if you race either 3 races or 4, we'll just say 3 for this conversation. So your first 3 races, whatever your highest championship points finish is, that's the one that counts, and it just drops the other 2. But if you race a 1 race more than that first group, let's say it's 3, so you race a 4th race, then now it starts a new group of 3 or 4. Actually, I'm going to go with 3 because I think that's what it is. Then it starts a new group of 3. And then what it does is it takes the highest one of that group, and then it averages those 2 high ones together to get your championship points. So it's okay if you run if you run 6 races in a week, and they're all like high strength of field races, Monday night, 8 p.m.s, 10 p.m.s. That's okay, right? Unless you win the Monday night 10 p.m. You're like, okay, I'm done for the week because that's the highest I'm going to get. Then okay, fine. But if you don't win that one, it's okay to race 6 races, but just know that it's going to take the highest one from the first group of 3, the highest one from the second group of 3, and it's going to average them together. And then the last thing I'll tell you is after this podcast, Cody, let's get together and if anybody on your team knows for sure, or we can find it documented somewhere, whether it's 3 or 4, I'll post it down in the comments of this video or put it in the description or something so everybody will know. Since there's a little bit of question about it now, let's look up and find the documentation because it's important when you're trying to plan this stuff, which one it is. But we'll let everybody know down afterwards. But anyway, if that is the case, you want to try to make sure you race that many. So if you're going to race more than 1, if it's 3, then race 3 and don't race a 4th. If you're going to race a 4th, then you need to race 5 and 6 as well, probably, because you need to make sure you get the opportunity to get the highest you can in that group of 3 or that group of 4. Because what you don't want to do is race 3 of them and have one really strong one, then go race a 4th race if it's 3, then go race a 4th race, get wrecked out, and get like 10 championship points. Then it's going to take your 200 championship point race that was the high one out of the first 3, and then it's going to average it together with the 1 race that you finished 10 with, and you're going to have a crappy championship point that week. So you're better off than racing 2 more races and make sure you get a strong one of that group to average the 2 high ones together. So that's how that works. And Cody, is that how you understand it to work as well?
Yeah, 100%. And I can tell you that 99.9% sure that is the 4. That's the formula we've used over at Ryko, and we're the back-to-back A Open champions with Jay's Newton. So 99.9%.
Okay, so my method was correct, but I was wrong about 3. Okay, so there you have it. Cody's saying that he's like super sure it's groups of 4, but the principle's the same.
And to kind of flip it, you can look at Mike Bruno in the B car standings right now. Dude has run 131 races and sitting P3. So, I mean, it can be done.
But he also runs mostly races in the evening after work, so he's getting the 8 p.m. and the 10 p.m.s, and so he every 4 races in that group, he's having at least 1 or 2 that are pretty high strength of fields, and that's the only way you can do it. That's the only way you can run all those races and still be really competitive in championship points.
Absolutely.
And
Now,
there was,
I just race for iRating points. I'm not up there with you guys. I just want to get my iRating up, and I just want to get less safety incidents and 20 iRating points or something.
I want to beat Scott. That's
I
all.
just,
beat Scott.
I
and
just
beat
want to
Scott.
be able to finish the race without being in a crash.
there you go.
You know, I'm doing good, and all of a sudden somebody wrecks right in front of me, and there's nowhere to go, or somebody hits me from behind, and I mean,
Yeah.
Dover has just been, and I got a second place there at Dover.
Yeah, Ron beat you out. Ron beat you.
Yeah, but Scotty, I've been telling you what we need to get you. We've been saying this for a while. I mean, the guys wrecking in front of you and you getting collected, you can't help that. But I think the big thing is going to help you with track awareness and avoiding some wrecks is to either get you set up with some kind of ultra wide or triples or VR or something other than just a regular 16:9 monitor. I mean, I think that's going to help you a lot if we can ever transition you to something else.
I got a 32-inch curved, but I need
Right, but
side,
it's 16
I
by
need
9.
3 of
So
them.
that's what I'm saying.
I do know a guy selling a 49-inch ultra wide if you're interested.
That happened to you. Well, Cody, what is it?
How do you like those 332s? You like that better than the ultra wide?
I do. So I'm still fine tuning them just to get everything adjusted correctly. It is pretty difficult. Not having much of a computer background. But yeah, I like it a lot. The visuals, having someone inside is very helpful, especially on the restarts. That's where I'm noticing the most difference.
Yeah. Well, that's what I do, especially if I'm starting on the outside line, like is like the second place car. Like I got VR on, so I'm going down the road with my head this way, just staring at the car, waiting for it to go with my gas on the throttle. So like, it does help. But I can imagine if you had triples, you could do the same thing. You just turn your head, looking at that side monitor all
Well,
the
you
time.
use some peripheral vision. You just look over the side a little bit, and you can still see him.
And while he's doing that, his car's going left and right.
So,
hey, Scotty, I did want to thank you for leaking those B car times for Darlington earlier. I definitely appreciate that.
what did
it
he
again.
do?
What was that?
For
What
letting
did he
those
do,
times
Cody?
out from Darlington. Those practice
sure,
times.
no problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an open practice, so it wasn't no secret or anything.
Got you.
Yeah. I mean, you could have been in that practice too with us, but
I can't show you how fast I'm going to beat Mike this week.
Stop
Keep
it.
that close to
That's right. You don't want to show your hand too early.
I think Mike Howerton ran in the 29s. If I was told he ran a 29.8 or something like that, or 29.7, didn't you, Mike?
29.9, I think.
Close to almost a 29.8. Close.
It was a low 29.9, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, you can have all the speed. You can have all the speed you want.
What's your times looking like, Cody?
Well, I can't tell you. We'll find out on Monday night.
Well, sure, you can tell us. If you tell us and they're good, you can sell sets right now.
Oh, they're good. Every time we go to Darlington, we've proven ourselves there, and we're just as good, if not better, this time.
Yeah, Cody, this is just a pre-production meeting for Monday night's strength of field race.
29.7s, huh?
So Cody, here's my thing, and I beat you up over this couple times ago when we were I think the first time we were on Darlington together and ran a bunch of races together, and you beat my doors off and just beat me completely. You said, "Oh man, I'm just running the set. We're selling the website," so I went and bought it, and I was slower with yours than I was mine. And so I was obviously doing something wrong if that's the case. Like I'm not saying I'm not part of the problem here. so can you give me any tips as far if I go right now and buy the Ryko set, can you give me any tips on my driving?
Yeah, man. So it really just comes down to protecting the tires. I will say we 100% run what's on the website. If anyone questions us, we'll pull it up in Discord while we're still on the track. So
you are racing what you're running.
So
absolutely.
So let me ask you this. So for having you on the podcast and letting you promote the set this week a little bit. And if I go buy it with the purchase, does that get me one personal one-on-one coaching session with Cody Terlinde?
I got you, buddy. I got you. You put that purchase in there, and we'll do it.
I mean, I could go over there, or you could come over here, but I want the personal treatment from Mr. Cody Terlinde.
As long as Mr. Ryko approves it, I'm down.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
he's
Yeah,
chiming in
me
here.
Me and Ken are like this anymore. I'm sure he'll approve that. The special one-on-one training. Just a one-time thing. That way you can show me what I'm doing wrong. Maybe that way, instead of you beat me by 10 or 15 seconds, you only beat me by like 5 or something. Hey, I'll tell you what, Cody, I appreciate you being on tonight, man. I just wanted to talk about, like, I thought that was cool to have that last segment to get in the weeds on championship points, because some people start to run championship points and they don't kind of understand the process. And so I think running them through it, like letting them know the difference between trying to run to get as many wins as you can versus trying to run to get the best championship points you can, about the idea that there's groups of 4. It doesn't average all of your races together. It averages the top from each group of 4 you do, like that kind of stuff. I think is really going to help people. And man, who better to hear it from than the dude that's winning and leading in championship points, right? I mean,
it's crazy to hear it every time you say it. Like, unbelievable. I'm really proud of everything we've done. So couldn't do it without my Ryko guys.
I hear you. I felt the same way when I finished in like 10th place last year overall. I was like, that's awesome. I was like, the best, I finished 10th. I'm not saying I was the 10th fastest car. You know, it's just you're out there every week on the track and you're having consistent finishes. That's all it means. You're out there, you're fast, but you're out there and you're having top consistent finishes. And you've even won an SOF race this season. So that's awesome too. Congratulations on that. I want to give you, a few final words, Cody. Anybody you want to shout out, anything you want to talk about, you want to plug Ryko, whatever you want to do, man. It's your chance. You got the last word of the night.
Oh man. No pressure there, right? So definitely got to thank everybody over at Ryko. Brandon building the bad butt setups there. So really proud of him. We're going to show him how much speed we got again this week. So everyone that puts time into it, testing with us, running laps with me, teaching me, I'm really proud of those guys there. I've got to give a shout out to my league that I help admin over there. So Asphalt Outlaws Racing, the Beverly's, great people. They've been customers of Ryko for a while as well. So I'm thankful for them and giving me the opportunity to actually help them build their group over there. And then we have to go with Roasted Gems Coffee for jumping on with Ryko. Being on the road to Pro Truck this year, actually won a hat from them, so it should be here tomorrow. Pretty excited. So you can actually have some merch to theirs to rep, and definitely thank their support for what they did for Ryko as well.
Awesome. Anybody else, as Cody's finishing out, anybody got a last question for him? Anything you want to pick his brain about while we got him?
No, but Ken said that his rig's going to be done next Saturday, so that's good.
Do you have an
So
altar
funny
count,
story
Cody?
with the rig. So I'm actually traveling down to Tampa to move my brother out of his dorm room, and he's like, "Cody, can you help me move this thing?" I'm like, "Come on, Ken."
Yeah, that thing's a beast.
Hauler.
he needs you and about every other guy that runs over there with Ryko to help him move that thing. My goodness.
Right. I figured it had a motor and wheels. He could just drive it home.
It looks like it should have a motor and wheels. Exactly. Anybody else got anything for Cody?
Cody, do you have an altar count, or you just raced that like this week? You only raced 1 race or 2 races?
So I don't have a true alta count currently. I started to sign up for one when I was over 6,600, just because it's really tough to go into Dega with that and run the amount of races I want to run and still be able to make top split or second split and road to pro. Unfortunately, we ended up killing iRating, so that alta count never really took off. So we just run it and send it every week in that main account. As far as the starts this week, they're low. I finished the race on Monday night and almost fell out of the rig. My daughter had been sick Sunday and didn't realize I ran that race with a fever and was dying. So spent most of the week this week in bed, recuperating from that. And we're going to get a couple last, maybe a midnight be opening here shortly. So.
Yeah, we got time. We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll have to go bomb that.
Oh
Yes.
man, are you planning on racing? I was just looking at that race and thinking about getting in there myself.
Yeah, there you go, Scott.
I'll watch. Go ahead,
Scotty,
Scotty.
Scotty,
You got a spot, Robert.
Cody's
You got a
hold
talking
on.
spot.
about getting in it.
Scotty, I've raced with you at Dover this week. I don't, man, I don't think there's any chance of Cody stealing a win from you, man. Dover has
Oh,
not
I got
been
a
good.
second place this week.
Cody, you
Dover's
got to
not
get out
been-
of his way.
Yeah, Dover's not been good to you this week. It's not been good to you. So, Scotty, you got anything for Cody? You or Brian?
No, I'm good. I think
Now's your
covered
time,
everything.
Brian. Now's your time. The man's right here.
Yeah, you can pick his
What-
brain, man.
Okay, what would you suggest someone who's stuck in an irate, and what could they do to improve
At any
Um,
level, you mean?
at any level?
The main thing is I would just stop focusing on the irate. Honestly, I've been stuck a couple different times when we hit 4,000, couldn't jump that hump. Same thing with 5K. And the main thing is just focus on the racing, and the iRating is going to come. Just looking at the start of this year, when I stopped caring about iRacing and just really started wanting to finish races, I really started looking at the top 5% more than anything else.
Yep.
So once those top 5 start rolling in and that percentage starts growing, the iRating is just going to come with it. And then learning as you go. So don't put so much focus on. I think even Tommy talked about that when he was here. He
did.
He still looks at it, but doesn't look at it during the race to know where he's at. And just race and do your best there.
Yeah,
All
Tommy.
right.
Tommy did say that. That was a good point. That's good on your part too.
Cody, words of wisdom, man. Thank you so much for being on here. I appreciate it. Everybody here appreciates it. And I know Tracy had a good time interviewing you there at the beginning as well. And so thank you so much for being on the podcast. I tell you what we'll do. We will check back in maybe as we get halfway through the season and then maybe 3/4 of the way. If you're still the points leader, man, whoever the points leader is, we'll have back one at different points during the season. And if that's still you, man, we'd love to have you back again, talk about that some more. But congratulations on that. And we really, really appreciate you coming on tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. Even with it being last minute, I was more than happy to hop on here, and it's been a pleasure, guys.
Yep. I plan on hitting you about the right on the 1/3 of the way mark, which will be in a couple weeks anyway, but we just did it a couple weeks early. No problem. Yeah, appreciate it. So guys, that's what we got for the podcast tonight. Appreciate Cody being with us there from Ryco Motorsports. Appreciate Ken letting us borrow him tonight and approving him coming on. And appreciate all the team being here. Tracy doing his interview, the Admiral himself, Tracy Rumscheid, Robert Cook, Scotty Stevens, Brian Stewart, the whole crew here at Area 51. Appreciate you watching. You guys can go down in the description below. We got all kind of goodies for you down there. We've got some promo codes, affiliate links, a couple sites where you can get some free setups. All that's down there in the description for you guys. If you go down there and check that out for the goodies. If you have not done so yet and you're watching the podcast and you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, we really appreciate you guys go down and hit that subscribe button. Helps us get channel growth, and that's appreciated. Also, there's a bell icon down there. If you hit the bell icon, you'll get notified anytime we go live with any of our live content, whether it be the podcast that we do every Sunday night at 10 p.m., which you guys are watching now. That's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, you'll get notified when we go live with live streams where you can ride along with us in the cockpit of our cars and hear all the chatter in our Discord. And also when we upload our great on-demand content series as we have. Tracy does all kind of setup videos. I do a lot of tech how-to videos and reviews of setup shops and all kinds of stuff. So hit that bell icon to get notified when we put all that new content on our channel. And finally, if you really, really, really want to help our channel out, honestly, the best thing you could possibly do for us is to simply share our videos that you like. If you like one of our videos and you like it a lot and you think it's going to help other people as well, just share it. Share it on Facebook, Discord, Twitter, like anywhere that you're at on social media, Instagram, wherever you're at on social media. If you simply share the videos that you like with others, it'll be helpful to them. It helps us grow our channel. And we just want to get out this helpful content in front of as many iRacers as possible. We're trying to help grow the community here at Area 51 Alien Factory. So guys, thank you so much for sticking with us to the end. And as always, we will see you in the next one.